Hey, welcome back everyone for another Wednesday live stream. I'm going to continue carrying on with some testing tweaks. I wrote a bunch of tests on Monday for the side project, and I just found myself doing a bunch of the same assertions within mail, the mail fake, to like assert that a mail was sent to someone. And I don't know. I think it's a common use case. You can let me know in the comments. Let's jump into the code and let me show you kind of what I'm talking about here. So let's go to PHP Storm. Oh, it looks like I have a couple apps still open. Let me switch to full screen. Hey, it's me, full screen. Let's close some of these other things down so they don't pop up. All right, there we go. Forgot that. All right, let's go back. Not me full screen anymore. Thank you. All right, cool. So let's write a quick test and let me kind of demonstrate the little bit of pain point that I think's here. Again, super minor, but let me know in the comments if you feel like you do this as well. I'm just gonna get in this example test, and what's like a really simple thing we can do? We don't even have any controllers. Let's just make a command. I think it's probably easier to make a command. So let's do PHP artisan make command, and we'll do something like example command, and we'll also need to do PHP artisan make mail example mail. It's all very gross, but you get the idea. And let's change this to be that command. What do they do? We'll just change this to app example command. That's all fine. I'm not going to mess with this too much. Again, we're just creating a very simple test here. So let's go ahead and do mail fake. And let's bring that in. And then let's do, is this artisan, I think? Yeah, command. We'll paste that. And then we'll do assert successful, and we'll, kick off that run bit. And then we'll do something like mail assert sent. What is our thing? Example mail, right? Very simply class. Okay, so super basic assertion. If we went and ran this vendor bin PHP unit and we run this, we should probably see a failure again because it's not actually sent. So let's go send it. Let's kind of make this happen, make this work, make this be functional. And then we'll kind of get into the pain point. So if we go back to our little example command and we jump down in here into handle, all we really need to do is mail send new example mail, and that should be good enough. There we go. Okay, so it works. We faked it out. It pretends it was sent through the fake. Now, again, this is pretty contrived. What you're probably going to do more likely is to send this to somebody. So let's just say shift@laravelshift.com, and we'll go back here. And then now here's where I think it gets just a tiny bit painful. So we could do something like, typically I would do something, and very limited here, we'll pass in mail, and then we can say something like mail has to, and you send it shift@laravelshift.com. And if we run this again, we should still pass. If I change this to something like jmac@laravelshift.com, we end up with a failure. Again, a little bit of a cryptic failure, which is kind of a sub thing here, maybe for next time, but it just says failed asserting that false is true. It doesn't even say something like, mail was sent to jmac, not, shift@laravelshift.com. Failed asserting that mail was sent to shift@laravelshift.com. That would be really cool, in my opinion, or in this case, jmac @laravelshift.com. So I don't know. Again, let me know in the chat. But I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, I don't think there's a assert sent to. Okay, this is what I think I would like to build. I think this is a pretty common use case, that you're simply asserting that a mail was sent to someone. Maybe you're not checking all the pieces of it. You really just care that it was sent to them. You're not too worried about the wiring or anything like that. So I think this would be cool. And again, maybe over here, you just pass it jmac @laravelshift.com, right? And if we go back here, of course, this is going to explode. Mail or assert sent to doesn't exist. You know, it's not going to know what any of that stuff is. Okay, so let's just kind of get into the core, make this happen, see if we can get this working the way we want. So if we go down into the mail fake, this sends us a mail fake. And then we have all these, again, assert sent to, assert sent times. Let's just kind of look through these real quick. Assert not sent. Yeah, I think 7 gives you a structure. Yeah, here we go. Let's just kind of look through these real quick. So has sent. I'm just making sure that there's not anything in here, you know, that maybe checks the to address already, right? So does anything in here do like a has to? Yeah. Has sent, mailables of, count. Yeah. I don't think anything in here immediately checks kind of that. So let's mess with this, assert sent. We'll change its signature. This is pretty basic. Let's just kind of look at this and turn off this so we get a little more room back. Let's just kind of make this happen here. So let's take this, we'll pop this off, and we'll say assert sent to, and for now, we'll just say to. Okay, prepare mail and callback. I don't think we need to prepare mail and callback. Is numeric, return assert sent times. Otherwise, the message is this sent count is greater than 2 with the callback. Okay. Whoops. Okay, let's see what this does. If it's a closure, first closure parameter type. I'm just trying to determine how can we write our own closures on this. If mail instance is a closure, then return an array of the first closure parameter type, mailable. I think what this does, what that does is it wraps this in a callable syntax, which makes sure that the mailable is passed into it. I think that's what this does. I'm not 100% on that. We'll have to come back to it. Let's just see again if we can kind of hack this ourselves. So it's never going to be numeric. It's always going to be a string, and we're not going to have a callable. Yeah, because if it's not a callable, then it just returns that back. What we need to do in this method is make our own callable or callback. So what we could do, I think, is let's say callback equals fn mail. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's type. Okay, I think it's typecasting that, and then we can say mail has to. Okay, and then let's say the expected mailable was not sent to. Yeah, we could say assert queued to instead. All right. Yeah, was not sent to. And here's where we can say something like to. Sorry, let's take all those quotes. I meant bracket. All right. Okay, a little concentration loss there. Let's see. Okay, so we have asserts into. We write our own. Little callback. We let it do its thing with the callback, and then we tweaked the message. We'll make a queued to if all this works, and then it basically just says assert sent, which is going to check everything. It re-prepares the callback, which I think is kind of strange. Do we need to do that twice? Probably not. If we're just going to call this, I think I think I'll probably just leave this alone. I think we'll just do something like this. Okay, so the callback is our own little callback. Again, it's just a helper. Let's try it. Okay, the expected mail app, expect mailable, was not sent to jmac@laravel.com. Failed asserting that false is true. Great. That worked, right? The expected example mailable was not sent to that. Okay, great. Let's go make it pass. So if we go back to our example, we can say jmac, and it's passing. Great. Okay, cool. All right, two things here. This works. That's nice. I want to do two things. I think this becomes infinitely helpful if you're able to pass it multiple email addresses. I'm thinking a situation again where maybe you're looping over and you're sending something to a couple users or a team of users or a group of users or whatever. I think it would be neat to be able to say, this shift@laravel.com to be able to test code that looks like this, right? So again, just a quick example, but you could imagine this was in like a for each loop of users as user, where you sent that out to all of those people. Whether that's sent as a single email to multiple addresses or whatever, that could be figured out. But if you had code like this, I think it'd be cool, again, not to have to write traditionally multiple different assertions, and you could pass this thing an array. So let's make this functional too, array to string conversion. Okay, there's our problem. And so if we go down into mail fake, we could change this. 2 is effectively allowed to be an array. And what we could do here is we could effectively do a for each, and I'm trying to think. How could we could effectively array wrap 2. If it's an array, it's going to stay an array. If it's not, we're just going to end up wrapping it. And then as 2, no, as email, I guess you could say. And then we could change this to, we'd have to wrap all of this. There's a way to optimize this code, but let's not worry about optimizing right now. Let's just make this happen. And we would just assert on each one. And I think they have some for, if you look in here, I think there's like some, yeah, there's some for, they do no, we're the only for each in here. Interesting. They probably use collections in here, so we'd have to check that out, but we'll leave it alone for now. Okay, so we array wrap 2 to make sure it's an array. We get email. Now we're going to have to, let's say, let's change this to addresses, and we'll change that to addresses and back to 2 here. I think that's a little easier. All right, yeah, addresses. Again, this can all get figured out in the PR. So now we're wrapping it, and this would allow us to go over multiple pieces. Okay, so let's run this again. Okay, we didn't import ARR, did we not? I thought we did. Why is it not asking me? Strange. All right, well, let's fix that. Facades ARR. Or no, it's just in support. It's not a facade. There we go. All right, let's try that again. Great, it's passing. Let's see it fail. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. We'll change this to user, something else. Okay, and there we get our failure. Failed asserting that true is false. Okay, so this works. Again, I don't know what you think about it. You can let me know in the chat or in the comments. But I think this probably has some value. I think it's a common assertion. It's a common scenario. Even if you're not doing multiple email messages, if we go back to our test, again, and just drop this back down, I just like this shorthand ability to just check that it was sent to this user. 'Cause I know there's times where, you want to check that the model was passed in or some bit of data was passed in. That's all fine. And of course you can do that with the closure. But I think a top level, this email was sent to this person, is probably the most basic, mail assertion that you'd want to do when you're testing. I think at a minimum you would want to do that. If you're just asserting that mail's sent, like, that's too brittle, like not brittle, but that's too, that's too loose. Like, you could be sending that email message to anybody. So I think this is the basic thing to do here is to just say assert sent to. So I think this is pretty good. Assert sent to. Yeah, the only thing is numeric callback assert sent times. You could get a little crazy and do some like overloading here, that if this was like a string or an array, you would assume assert sent to. You would assume a callback. So I think there's opportunities to do that. I think newer methods and assert sent to is much cleaner. It's already leveraging other things anyway. So I don't think that's necessary to kind of hack that. I think this is probably the way to go. Yeah, so I think I'm going to clean it up. I think I'm going to add assert queued to. We could probably, add things like assert not sent to, if you really wanted. So assert not sent. What does this look like? Yeah, prepare mailable and callback. I want to better understand this method too, but I was just trying to see if they just assert count 0 on that. So it's kind of like the inverse of what we're doing. I probably won't mess with assert not sent to. I don't feel like that's a very common. I don't feel like that's a very common use case, to be honest. Why would you assert that a mail was not sent to somebody? I mean, I guess if it's super critical that it wasn't sent to, like, the president of a company, fine. I've been in that. I've actually had that use case before, where like some app we built was like sending something to the CEO and they got all pissed off. So yeah, anyway, sidetrack. Yeah, I think I'll add assert Q2 and stop there. I like to make the PRs kind of minimal because, again, I don't want to overload the team with like 5 different things. And I typically find that a PR has a better chance of success if it's kind of like the minimal change set. And you can allow the community to continue to add things from there. But if you kind of go in here and add like 17 different assertions, it's too much, I think it feels like too much. So I'm just going to focus on these 2. I think they have value. If it's proven that they have value, then either I or someone else in the community can easily add assert not sent to if they feel that that's of value to them. I don't have any value in that one. I think this is kind of the basic value, is just being able to do something really simple like that. So yeah. All right, well, I'm going to finish up this PR off stream. I think we've kind of proven out what it is. I'll probably, like I said, better understand this method. I'm going to dig a little deeper into this prepare callback bit just to make sure that I'm using it effectively. So my guess is that it basically allows you to type hint this closure, which we're not doing. So I don't think we need to mess with that. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining live. I will see you all next week.